Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Smiths Falls on the podcast about Smiths Falls and the people in it. Today's episode is brought to you by the Mother's Day Matinee. Here we are in early spring, Mother's Day just around the corner. What are your plans? What are you going to do? Well, we're going to be at the Mother's Day Matinee, Sunday, May 14th, 2 p.m. at the Station Theatre. Amber McLean and her friend Dee Archer are going to be serenading the crowd with a musical celebration of motherhood not to be missed. Sponsors for the Mother's Day Matinee are Say To Bakery, the Arts Hub, and Royal LePage Advantage Real Estate. And today, from Royal LePage Advantage Real Estate, we have the one and only Jennifer Aunger-Ritchie. Recorded right here inside the Arts Hub in downtown Smiths Falls, here's my chat with Jen. So you had was it a toddler meltdown, or just like got trapped in a bedtime?
Yeah, where it's like a vicious cycle. You go to leave, the minute you open the door, one of the girls is like, "Mama," and then she's like, "Bling." Yeah. So, and because she's sick, it's just going to take that much longer. But I left, and Nick was going back in to lay with her or sit with her for a bit. Mm-hmm. So it'll be fine. The nice thing is the three older girls put themselves to bed, really. It's just they need a good night, but that's about all.
Yeah, my oldest is finally at that point. I spent a lot of hours doing bedtimes. I know a lot of parents who've been like, go to bed, see ya.
Exactly.
Read a little book, bye. But both my kids, we've always fallen asleep with them.
Right.
Frankie still, she's 6.
Yep.
I don't leave the room until she's asleep.
Right.
But I'm pretty good at it.
And I have done the crawl out. Mm. But Charlotte, I would say, is our best sleeper because she's the third. And there was not enough gap that she would just get left in places and be like, oh crap, she's asleep. Excellent. Yeah. And then leave her. But now she's likes to be laid with and chatted. So but at least I can be I have to go and I can leave. Yeah. But Ivy, the 5 years between them, she's our little nugget.
My secret move when I'm trying to make that escape, when they're in between
dozy
zones, where they seem asleep, but then the second I get up, they're going to be like, what?
Yeah,
where are you going?
Where are you going? Yeah.
I'm always just I just have to go pee.
To the bathroom. Yeah.
Just gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. And then by the time, I don't even have to pee at all.
No, exactly.
I just leave.
Yep.
And then they're either yelling out my name in 6 or 7 minutes, or they're not. Usually they're not.
Yes.
Usually they're not.
Yes, that's key.
Okay, well, you're on a podcast.
Huzzah.
We are recording.
Okay.
We've been recording for a little while.
I won't say anything incriminating.
If you do, I can always edit it out.
I'm sure I don't have very many.
I'm no investigative journalist here, but at the same time, I do kind of like to get to the bottom of things.
Yeah.
And it's about time that I had you on this podcast, I think, because I feel like I started with a lot of the people I met first, but I don't think I really met anybody from town before I met you, because you sold me my house.
It's true. Yeah. I did. Yeah.
So how's that going? How are houses going?
Houses are good. We are back in what I consider my comfort zone real estate market, in the sense of, things are selling. They don't feel as fast because of the last few years. But in actuality, if we were back in 2018, 2019 market, this would be considered a very strong, quick market. Mm-hmm. So it's setting those expectations, resetting those expectations again, but back to conditional sales, negotiating. My brother said, oh, this is old hat for you guys. This is your bread and butter. This is what you know what to do. So it's true. The last few years were chaos and stressful. There's a little bit of breathing room in there, which sellers aren't used to. So that can be stressful for them, but it really still is a very strong time. And with interest rates starting hopefully to head in the other direction, I think we're going to see nothing but good things. And we're still seeing amazing things in our area, even though people thought, and the media went crazy when Canopy had its, bit of a closure, still very open. I like to make that known because a lot of people are like, oh, how are you doing? It's still a big employer in our town. Yeah. But anyways, and so that's still, people are still coming from all over to move here. It's still a very sought after
Where
area.
are you seeing people from? Like a lot of like people from far away? Or?
Not too far. Like definitely right now we have the non-resident act in, so people that aren't Canadian can't be purchasing.
Right.
In certain areas they can. I think ours, for the most part hasn't been affected, but Toronto is still very strong. And
I
like
see a lot
Hamilton,
of 416 numbers calling me all the time.
For all around here, I would imagine. Like Toronto, it feels like every time right now, even I just negotiated an offer today and they're coming from Brantford. So that GTA market is still really strong. I think just because, again, there's going to be those that are younger, but then also like the retiree age, it's always been really strong because if they have kids in Ottawa or Kingston or Toronto, this is kind of the middle corridor for them. And we have, great healthcare and great access to the 401 and to the airport and that kind of thing. So that's still really strong. But the first time home buyers, I love working with first time home buyers. Mm-hmm. It's like working with people that are going to buy a cottage. It's something that simplicity and the excitement that's still in the air. They haven't learned of the stress of owning a home yet and all that comes with it. But yeah, like a couple of the first-time home buyers that I'm working with right now, there's some that are deciding to come back to the area. They were born and raised here and they've chosen to come back, which can sometimes not be very heard of. Like once, and I'm talking young, like 23, 24, like fresh out of university and coming back. And then some that have chosen because of the price point of real estate to move here. So it's still a hodgepodge of people coming, but I would say like the negativity of the market and the negativity of the media and that kind of thing, it hasn't drastically affected those that are in the market right now or in the process of buying. They're the smart ones because, they're taking advantage of the fact that, there is still competition in certain parts of the market, but not on a whole. So they can get in and really find, if they've been sitting on the sidelines for the last few years, they're finally able to take their hard-earned money that they've been saving for so long and put it into a property instead of renting.
Now, fill me in. Did you leave town and then come back?
I did.
So where'd you go? When? Were you one of the people who got right out of here after high school?
Yeah. So backstory, I jokingly say I was brainwashed, but I wasn't. I grew up saying like, I'm going to be a realtor. I'm going to own a real estate brokerage called Aunger with my mom. And I was her sidekick in essence. And so went away to university to Laurier and got my communications degree. And right before I left, I was like, I'm never going into real estate. I'm never moving back here. If I could just go back and say, like into my 19-year-old self space. But left, got my degree, and started working for a PR agency in Toronto. Did PR for 20th Century Fox and CBC News and a lot of other super cool projects. I say it to people and they're like, why would you leave? Like, it sounds so awesome. It's like any agency work, you work really, really hard for not a ton of money. But also we weren't taking advantage of the city. Like Nick and I, my husband and I lived in Toronto, but really just went to work and came home, bought groceries, and the cost of living was horrendous. And the whole time that I was in agency work, I kept saying, I think I'm going to end up working for like Royal LePage head office and their communications program or the Ontario Real Estate Association. It was always, the end game was always real estate focused. And so I got my real estate license while I was in Toronto. Never really thinking that I would sell in Toronto, but, had the opportunity, had a couple of really, great friends of my mom's, say like if she ever wants to work for a team, she can come work for me. And so I was toying with that idea. And then it really was buying real estate that had us look here because we started looking at properties in Toronto. And I would say things to the people in my agency like, we just want a detached home with one parking space. Like, I'm not asking for the moon. And they were all like, what are you talking about? We know how much you make. You're never buying that. What do you mean? Like, I'm not asking for a mansion. But, at that time, 14 years ago, there were, row houses with no parking and no yard were selling for like $450, which now they'd be like $1 million. I should have bought 6 of them, but I'm stupid. Also couldn't afford that at the time anyways. So one Christmas, Nick, my husband, started looking here. And I am not driving the ship to Smith Falls.
Yeah.
He's from Cambridge, Ontario.
Right.
I'm not bringing him here if he doesn't want to be here, right? It's small town living, as you know, like it's not for everybody, especially if you're moving from the city and not understanding what you're anticipating. I knew, I loved it, but it was still the town I grew up in. It's not what it is today. And so I was, a tiny bit reluctant, but had my real estate license. And, in the back of my mind was, you're going to end up in real estate. I still was very much into looking at real estate, understanding the market, talking to my mom. I was still writing a lot of her write-ups for her listings and whatnot. So still had a foot in the door and going to real estate conferences with her and whatnot. And we just realized that, our money could stretch so much further here. Mm-hmm. We ended up buying a Victorian home downtown Smith Falls, beautiful Victorian that all my friends were like, how are you buying this? I'm like, because I live in a small town. Like, it's great. And Nick was
that was near where I am now,
we were on McEwen Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that my side of...
No, it's like the opposite side of Elmsley Street.
Right.
Yeah. And I loved it. My grandmother had a Victorian home. I still have this extreme, draw to older properties with character.
Yeah.
I jokingly say it's like your old grandpa, like they're worn down, but you know what you're getting from them. Like they're very there's no filter. When we live in a teen home now, and they're always moody and something's going wrong when you don't know it's going to. So, but and we bought it, we renovated it. I loved that house. I still love that house. I did research on it. Like I go to the library and look up what it used to be, and had the double staircase. I love that house.
I love crooked houses.
Yeah.
Like slightly crooked houses. Not overly, I'm not leaning a Tower of Pisa here, but just like a little bit.
Yeah. Don't roll a marble. Like the marble is going to roll somewhere else. Yeah. No, we loved it. And it was one of these situations though, that when we moved back, because I went to high school in Perth, I did theater in Perth. I knew Perth very well. I, love my hometown. My degree says Smith Falls. It's where I'm from. It's my blood. But we looked in both towns. It was one of these where wherever the home was, that's where we would lay down roots. And this one, before it even hit the market, I kind of had a inside scoop being a realtor and got to go through it and absolutely fell in love, to the point that we were in the basement, and where the old boiler used to be, it said December 1978, which is the year my husband was born. And I was like, Nick, it's a sign. And we're walking through it with the listing agent, who has known me my entire life and worked on it. And he's like, Jen, don't give away all of our cards, be a poker or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I fell in love with it immediately. So knew we were going to be here. And it was, and we've never
So that
back.
was like 09?
No, 2010.
2010.
Yeah. So started looking in 09, in the winter or fall, I guess, of 09.
That's about the year I bought my first house too.
And where you bought out in Southwestern, right?
In like outside Chatham.
Yes.
Like it was an old converted church in the middle of a cornfield. It was a Victorian.
Yeah.
It was like early 1900s, 1905.
So cool. Converted churches and stuff like that is so cool. Like I think they come with that much more history and architecture, that the details are in there. But
I really, really loved that place, and I really missed that place. But me and my wife had two places, and we used to be 2 hours apart from that place, so it was like manageable as like a weekend home, a bit of a country cottage kind of getaway.
Yep.
But when we moved up here, it was 8 hours away.
Yeah.
And we thought about maybe keeping it and maybe just renting it out and maybe trying to retire there one day or something. But it was just too much to worry about that far away.
Yeah.
But I'll always have like this little slice of regret for that place, because we thought we were going to have that place forever. We thought that was going to be a forever place for us. But now we're here, and no regrets. We're glad we did it. We're really enjoying Smith Falls.
Yeah. I love your story. Like, I love the fact that you guys drove through town and like decided like this is where we're going to I remember getting the text from, like, I can't remember if it was you or Amber who texted me. I think it was you. But and the way it was just so like, like person. Like it was very like, hey, how's it going? I want to see these houses and blah, blah, blah. Like I can vividly remember the houses we saw and whatever. But I also thought in my head, I've never told you this, but when the text came in, I was like, oh my gosh, have I talked to these people before? I don't like, it was just so like connected that I was like, oh my gosh, what am I forgetting? What have I done? And it was just so funny to me. Like, why were they moving here again? Why can't I remember any of this?
Right.
But it was because I didn't know yet and hadn't really met you yet. But yeah. And I think because you wanted to look at Victorians, I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally game for all of this. Yeah.
So 4 girls.
4 girls. Yes. That's happened since we moved back too.
Yeah. So give me a rundown on the ages again.
Yep. So Grace is 12, Amelia is 9, Charlotte's 6, and Ivy is will be 2 in June.
I feel busy enough with 2 kids. I can't imagine 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like a lot today when, more than that used to be the norm.
Totally. Yes.
My mom's one of 5. My dad's one of 8.
Which is crazy to me. Doubling
8.
what I have.
Lots of people had more than that.
Yeah.
12 kids, 13 kids.
I was listening to a podcast today, and it was one of the guys that was the Bachelor, and he's one of 10. And I was like, whoa, like today, that's crazy. But yeah, no, back in my grandparents are the same. My mom is one of 6. My dad's an only child. So yeah, and then lots of 2s everywhere. 2's kind of the norm, I would say. 3 is even big.
So your parents... Were they always from Smiths Falls?
Yes.
Because they're pillars of the community, I'd say.
Yeah. So what I find a fun story is growing up, my mother's mom, my grandmother Merkley, used to tell me stories about playing in her neighborhood. And one of the moms of the neighborhood had taken all of the initials of each of the abundance of children that would play out in the streets. And when she would be calling them back, all the kids, like wherever you are, it was almost like a pig call. And it went like, like it was all, and they knew like, oh, there's my initials. I got to come back.
Yeah.
And she told me like in that group of children, the first one was my dad's father, Harry Aunger. And then she was Kay Doyle. So when she got to, I don't know, Cadal or however they say it, but down that way, that was her. So I always thought it was so cool that my parents didn't meet until, they were out of high school. Probably knew of each other, but not really, cross paths because my parents have an age gap. But yeah, their parents are either from like Westport, Jasper or Smiths Falls.
So all the area.
The area. So very familiar, with it. And to the point that my brother, when he was graduating from Queen's University, they want to put Lombardy, Ontario on his degree because my parents now live in Rideau Ferry.
Yeah.
And he like fought the registrar, like, I am from Smiths Falls and I want it on there. Like we're, 3rd generation or 4th generation or whatever it is now. Like it's been for a while of being in this town. Yeah.
So growing up here, what was it like for you back then? We're roughly the same age. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Ottawa.
Right.
And all I knew of Smiths Falls at the time was that, some schools would take field trips to the chocolate factory.
Right.
That's about the long and the short of it for me growing up. That's what I knew of Smiths Falls. Was the chocolate factory like a major fixture in your life growing up here?
So even the Hershey track and field meet was every year for all the elementary kids, and I think maybe high school, but I just remember that. And I sang O Canada at it every single year, and it was the best singing gig because they gave you this huge box of every single Hershey bar or Hershey chocolate item that they sold, and I thought it was just the greatest thing ever. But yeah, no, it was major. You'd smell the chocolate through the town. Like it was anybody you spoke to, same thing. When we're driving from Toronto to Ottawa, we're stopping at the Hershey Chocolate Factory or, I never really went to Smiths Falls, but I went to the Hershey Chocolate Factory. Like, then you've been here. So, I always wondered, I was a child, but like, why aren't our street lamps Hershey Kisses? Like, why aren't we really making this, a big thing? And I like babysat. I like watched the cats of like the general manager of the Hershey plant when he had to go to Pennsylvania and stuff. So yeah, it was a staple, a very big staple. And like I said before, the town that I grew up in is not the town that it is now. Like it is in the sense that it's very community focused. Everyone I even find even some small towns, like you walk through the town, people will say hi, everyone waves driving down the street. Like it's still that very, very, a small town feel. But it seems like people that might have been driving through that just went to the Hershey factory and drove away. Now it's like, well, let's, try to make them stay a little bit longer. Let's, make our walking trails that much better, or like the marketing kind of that's going out to the outside world is that much more front of mind than it was back then.
A little less one-dimensional.
Totally.
Hershey was so synonymous with this town. And I almost feel like maybe the sort of collective mentality of the town had sort of been programmed on like, we're the chocolate town.
Yes, 100%.
That when a new company that made a new one-dimensional product moved into the same building, it was like, we're the cannabis town.
Yep. Look at my shirt.
Yeah. And I think it brought the town back to life.
Absolutely.
In many ways, resuscitated it.
Yep.
But now we're breathing on our own.
Yeah. Yeah. We're off the life support. Yeah. And it really is like, I know being business owners, a lot of us spoke to media when the layoffs happened at Canopy, and there was this whole idea of it being the same as it was back then, and it wasn't. Like there was a lot of families that both parents worked for Hershey, and it was devastating. But obviously, yes, I've been licensed for, going on 14 years as a realtor now, but I've been in the business my entire life. Mm-hmm. So I can say that even back then, like it wasn't this, surge of power of sales and surge of like, closure, whatever. Like, so yeah, it was devastating, for sure. But at the same time, we pulled up our socks and we went to work, and it didn't feel like that. It was sad, obviously, the day of. Everyone felt for everybody that was affected by the layoffs at Canopy. But you're right. Like this whole idea of breathing on our own, it absolutely felt like that. We have so many more things happening than that one-dimensional thing or one thing that it felt good to not.
One thing I talk about this a lot on this podcast, but one thing I think that we still haven't come into is what that new identity is. I think it's shaping itself. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be more than just that chocolate or cannabis. It's going to take a full sentence to describe, at least maybe even a paragraph.
I hope so.
Dare I say?
Yeah, that would be lovely.
As opposed to a single word.
Yeah.
What do you see for this town? What do you hope for what do you predict for this town?
Yeah.
Slash. What do you hope for this town?
Yeah, I like that.
Where's the overlap there?
And I think, right before Canopy came and we were new back to the community, I really started thinking like, oh goodness, is this going to become like a bedroom community to Ottawa? Like that big talk of commuter train, big talk of commuter bus and all this stuff. And then there started to be this whole discussion once Canopy did come and people were commuting into Smiths Falls and then choosing to live here because, the accessibility to programming and daycares and, groceries and, all those different things gave a little bit more to their family life than I think they anticipated. So, I think what I foresee is that the outside world, outside of our little Lanark County walls, will continue to see the affordability, even with, inflation still being what it is. And even with our, locals seeing the cost of homes have increased to, what they are now, and them saying, I can't believe they're worth this much money. It's still very affordable versus what, somebody might be trying to buy even, 20 kilometers either direction. Yeah. So I think that is still going to be a really big draw for people that are looking everywhere. Like that is one thing that has changed where, 10 years ago when we had people looking in real estate or looking for a community, it really was the like, how close am I to work or how close am I to this or that or whatever. Now it really is what's my life going to look like? What kind of lifestyle do I want to create for myself and my family? And then I'll make the job happen for that lifestyle. if somebody's so lucky. So I think there still will be a lot of that. I think that people are seeing, that when they look to lay down those roots, the community offers a lot more than just affordability. They offer, like you guys are doing here, amazing music lessons for their kids, the little bake shops that you get to know the owners really, really well, that you're walking down the street and you say hi, you see your kids' friends from parents at the grocery store that they met at daycare that you had no idea who they were until their kids say, it's Ivy's mommy. And you're like, oh my gosh, I should know who you are. And they're like, oh wait, I do know who you are because I know who your kid is. And it's just, I think it's that, we're coming out of this pandemic very eyes open to what's important in life and what we want, where we want to stretch our money. And I think that people are really going to see that smaller communities offer that a lot more than cities do.
All right, let's do the small community speed round then. Okay. I'm going to name a small town.
Yes.
In this general area.
Okay.
And then you're going to tell me in 1 to 3-ish words.
Okay.
One sentence.
Okay.
Describe that town, what they're famous for, what they offer. Okay?
What they're famous for. Oh gosh.
Merrickville.
I would say Mrs. McGarrigle's is the first thing that comes to my mind. But like small boutique little shops, caramels from
Okay, Westport.
Spy Rock, Foley Mountain. I see a boaters community, cottagers, Rideau.
Perth.
Prettiest town in Ontario, as it's known. Again, I think that, that settlement feel, that Sleepy Hollow from Gilmore Girls kind of.
Smiths Falls.
Strong, mighty, super awesome. What are they known for? I would never say.
It's very abstract, Jen. Yeah. Very abstract.
Exactly. It's something for everyone. That's what I would say about Smiths Falls. It is something for everyone.
Okay.
Because we have great small boutique shops, but we also have big box stores, and we also have.
Sounds very non-committal, Jen.
I know, but I think that's.
I'm trying to nail down our identity here.
I know. You're right. It is a paragraph.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
I know I don't want to be a bedroom community.
I do.
I don't want to be a commuter town.
No.
I'd rather invest in we got so many friggin' trains in different parts of this town.
Yeah.
This is a railroad town, right?
Yeah.
Between the Railroad Museum and the CN Rail, I know there's something
there.
Steam engine still.
Yep.
That we could put on the tracks.
Yep.
And screw the commuter train to Ottawa.
Yep.
We make one that comes into Smiths Falls from Ottawa in the morning.
Yep.
And goes out at night.
Oh, I love it.
So people can come into town.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yep. Well, I think another thing that we're not, the trains is a big one, but I still don't think we're capitalizing enough on the Rideau Canal. It is a beautiful, majestic asset. It's a historical.
I think it's what tipped it for us.
You say.
Went for lunch by the water. We looked and we're like, hello.
Yeah. When we lived in town, I'm a runner, and I would run through the communities, but then I'd run along the Rideau Canal, up to Lower Reach and around and then kind of back. And I always felt like it was this hidden, people went there for their prom photos and never really went back or something. It really is, you're down there when the powwow's happening. You're down there when any of the music or the movies Under the Stars is going on. And it really is this hidden lovely gem. You talk to anybody that camped at the old campsite that's not there anymore, or the RV park, but then or the boaters that come through, they love to come here and have the walkability of the town and whatnot. I really think
a diamond in the rough.
It is a diamond in the rough.
We're buried treasure.
Yeah, basically Aladdin. Yeah. No, I really think there's something more there that can be.
But what if too many people find out about us?
That's
and then
true.
All the other people who liked us before are
That's true.
I liked them before they were cool.
Yeah, that's true. We want to teeter on the edge of cool. I think we're pretty cool, but I'm kind of a nerd. So.
I think it's a cool town. I mean, I do think, I don't disagree. Right. I don't disagree with the whole we got everything.
We
sort
do.
Of comment.
Yeah.
But that's hard to put into marketing speak. It is.
You're very, very right. And I do think that maybe it's because when I go now, granted, like Perth again, I would find it like it's another Merrickville, but you kind of, you open your eyes a little bit more when you're not in your own, because when I give directions in this town, I'm like, you go to Tommy's house, then you turn right, and then you see this tree, and then la, la, la. Like, it took me a good year when I moved back here, when I was in real estate, to know street names because I just knew where things were. So you just kind of like, your eyes are closed almost to your own town.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah, and you get comfortable, right? That it's fine. It's fine the way it is. Well, it's not. We're always growing and evolving.
I was in Perth this morning. I went to look at a piano.
Yes.
I'm always looking at pianos. It's a hobby of mine.
Yep.
I'm going to take this one, I think. But it was an older couple, probably roughly 70 years of age.
Okay.
And we got into chatting with them about Smiths Falls and their impressions of it as people from Perth.
Yep.
And he used the word impressed.
Oh, I see.
Very impressed.
Yep.
He thinks Smiths Falls is doing everything right.
Oh, amazing.
And he seems to think Perth is doing everything wrong.
Oh, interesting.
The comment that stuck with that he made, there's too many old people here. He's like, and that's coming from one of them.
Yes. Yeah.
We cater to the elderly population here, of which there are many, but in 20 years, very few of us are going to be here. We're going to be somewhere else, perhaps not on Earth.
Yep.
His words.
Yes. Yep.
And I guess that he's a very active community member, identifying this as a very large challenge for the town, that they just really, really need to appeal to more young people, and the people really thinking about it there are actually quite concerned. It's like he was.
I have heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of detective work. You take a walk around Perth, you see a lot of old people.
Sure.
It's a beautiful retirement town.
Yep.
But so many people are retiring there that now that they're trying to think about the future of their town, it's like, we need some young people.
And it's true. There's a lot of younger people that live in Smiths Falls that are invested in the town, are invested in seeing it continue to grow, invested in seeing, their local shops or businesses thrive. We own 4 Degrees Brewing in town.
Yep.
And during the pandemic, like, that was pretty evident. Like, Smith Falls wanted to help their own. Like, we all tuned into, artists that were doing musical stuff, or, tried to get restaurants, whatever. It was hard for a lot of people still, obviously, but I really felt that we wanted to take care of ourselves. And that is one thing that I repeatedly always say about Smith Falls is, and maybe it's true for all small towns, I don't know, this is the one I know, but they will take care of each other.
Yeah.
Like, there's no concern there over that.
I definitely know that Amber and I, we moved to a few different towns looking for that sense of community.
Yes.
And we never quite found it. I'm not, not to say that the different places we live, we never found any sense of community, but we didn't find what we were looking for.
Yeah.
And we found it here. And like you said, I don't know if that's just a small town thing. Maybe it's just the right size. I feel like I got really lost in the fray in a larger town. Everybody's always concerned with the next biggest thing.
Totally.
And here the little things matter.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a small town thing or I think it is. I mean, I think it is a small town thing.
Yes.
I think it definitely is a small town thing, but weaker or stronger from small town to small town.
Totally.
I think it's very strong here.
Given that I meet a lot of different people that are looking at a lot of different towns in the province, or in even some are looking the entire country, and they're thinking out east, or they're thinking, southwestern Ontario or wherever. Like, it's not just Lanark County or Leeds and Grenville. And there has been more often than not comment of Smith Falls is a very welcoming community if you're not from here. So if you're not from here, if you're not from the small town that you're looking at, a lot of people don't really make that extra effort to make you feel welcome, or you go into the town hall. People comment a lot about saying, they go into the town hall in Smith Falls when they're looking to decide about the town and just trying to get some information. And they're almost trying to like push back on the town of them being like, here's your recycle bin, like, here's everything, we welcome, and please come in, or come to the welcome brunch, or do this, or there's different things that are going on, and it's been brought to my attention more often than not that that's like the deciding factor between our little piece of the world and somewhere else, is that they'll be in the grocery store and make mention to buying a house, and they're like, oh, I have a sister that lives around the corner, and I'll let her know that you're there and you should whatever. So that always has made me feel really, really good about our community, is that they can be like that.
Did it feel that same way when you were growing up here?
Yes. I should say it's hard too, because I was a child. So you have different perspective of what the town was like. Obviously, like any small town, and you watch movies about it, or you are a child that grew up in a small town themselves. Everyone has that feeling of like, I wish it had more, and I wish it had this or that or whatever, a big mall or blah, whatever, insert teenage want here. But definitely, I loved the fact that when I was a small kid, around the corner from our office was Tate's Bakery, and it was the very, very well-known bakery in town. But I thought I was getting all this sense of freedom to walk around the block to go to the bakery by myself, when really my mom would just call and say, Jenny's coming around the corner. Can you just let me know when she's arrived? So it was very much, everyone knew everybody. Nick and I got married, and people came with their Tim Hortons and stood on the front lawn of the church to see us come out. And not to say that we're anything special. It's just because there was so many different, theater life that I had, or the church life that I had, or the dance life, or whatever. So lots of different people that not necessarily were involved in my life at that time, and so would come to our wedding, but really wanted to see that part. So it felt that way. We always joke, Nick's been here for 13 years, that he should be, a local. And once he was referred to in the paper as local talent when he was in a play, and I was like, you are not local talent. You're not from here. But yeah. And so I would say that growing up, yes, it gave me that homey, lovely, small town feeling. But now I don't know if it's that I'm an adult and looking at it, or if it's just that the town has changed so much that it's just a different town, but still with the same roots, I would say.
So where did theater happen when you were a kid here? Because nowadays we have the Station Theater. Yep. But that wasn't around.
No. So the Smith Falls Community Theater was a thing because they were raising money to renovate the CP station. So the bigger productions would happen at the Gallipo Center. Right. We did Romeo and Juliet one year. I was Juliet, and we were there. A couple of the plays, the very first one they ever did was in 1998. It was Our Town, and they did it at Duncan J. Schooler, just in the school stadium or theater or whatever.
Auditorium.
Yeah, it wasn't really. It's like almost like an atrium, and then they have this little stage. But anyways, technicalities. But yeah, I would say the majority of them were done. Like we did, Christmas Carol and bigger productions like that. They always had a kids Christmas something that would happen, and that was the best Christmas pageant ever, and different Christmas plays like that. They happened at the Gallipo Center, but that wasn't the Gallipo Center back then. No, it was the Rita Regional Center at the time. Still, that was great too, because we would do these productions, and then it was part of the school. The schools would, their last week before Christmas break, they would come and watch this play, and so they kind of got exposed. The kids got exposed to the theater access in town. But yeah, in Smith Falls proper, that was, probably where we did the majority of our shows was there. I can't think of we didn't go to Hanley Hall or anything like that. So it would have been there. Yeah. There's a real estate listing worth talking about. Yeah. The Gallipo Center. What do you think is going to happen to that place? I don't know. There's so much that can happen. So much. I haven't talked about this on the podcast yet. I've talked about this with a lot of people, but what are people saying? I would love to know. I don't know. I feel like everybody's kind of saying the same old stuff. I mean, I think that the efforts that were made with the Gallipo Center, in my opinion, were valiant efforts and probably in the right direction. Yep.
of how to utilize that place.
Yep.
It's a lot. It's a lot to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot to do.
Yeah.
And it just becomes more and more as it becomes more and more run down.
Exactly. As the building continues to get, more worn and the maintenance that would have to go into a building of that age is huge just to maintain it the way it is. But then you think about all, like, the land itself is beautiful and gorgeous. Like, I even think of my girls did dance out there with Redeemer, and I would go, again, I run. So I'd go for a run around there and out. And it's beautiful property. And they have the ability to, potentially, subdivide at the back, put in like detached properties, or my real estate my real estate heart, I should say, would love to see townhouse condos for those boomer generation, or even, people that, you're just talking about your friend Martin, somebody that wants to have a property, but not a condo in the sense of like an apartment, but have like a door and a backyard and that kind of thing, but that are maintained. My in-laws live in Cambridge and love it. So I would love to see something like that happen out there. But again, the building itself, like the theater there, it's lovely. Yeah. It's a really great space. The acoustics are kind of junk, but the stage and, the space is great. I think that something really cool could go in there, like, laser tag or, a trampoline park or something like that. Because again, parents of children, I always think, something to do in the wintertime or weekends or a rainy day or something, like something in the gyms happening there would be really, really cool. But I just think there's so much that could happen out there. And the people that live out there that have rented or, purchased the leasehold properties out there, they love it. They love the community. I wish the pool, like when we first, I don't know, was the pool still open when you guys moved here?
It was. We never got to experience it before it closed. Yeah. And like we tried to sign one of our kids up for swimming lessons and they were signed up, and then we got a notice that like
it wasn't happening.
Their one lifeguard or one swimming instructor quit, and so they weren't doing lessons, and then COVID hit.
Yeah. No, it was a great asset. Like our older two girls both did lessons there, and now like our Grace, our oldest, wanted to go back doing lessons, kind of was toying with the idea of getting all of her badges to be able to lifeguard and teach and stuff. And we had to go to Perth because that's, the closest
that's
pool.
where we wound up.
Yeah. Which is a great facility. I was very happy to go there, but it was nice. Like, Nick and the guys did parent, swimming lessons on Saturday mornings, and then would take the kids to Country Diner for breakfast and whatever. Like, it was a great asset. So it was sad when that wasn't open. So there's so much there, but like many things in town, when you look at the old water treatment plant, or even my most favorite is, the row houses on George Street, which is just up here on Main. There's like the town has, my dream would be to like bring those back to the beautiful glory with the globe lights and everything. Oh, love it.
I looked at that property.
They're so great.
That property was up for sale when we were moving to town.
Yes.
And it was that whole set of units and the adjacent house.
Yep, the white one that was there.
Yeah, and I think it was about $350.
Yep. Yeah. But you opened like one of the units and the entire floor is like sunken in, right? Yeah. So like there, again, most things that we say that I would love, Nick and I, looked at the water treatment plant when we first were thinking about opening a brewery, like, this would be an amazing space. Yeah. You need deeper pockets than deep pockets, So that's the hard part, is somebody that wants to come in and, really, really invest a lot of money into that space. So it's hard. Like, I think a big piece of my heart too is that, like, I did my dance recitals at the Rideau Regional Center. I did theater, like I just talked about. There's so much history to this town, just driving up that laneway, the big trees and everything. Like, it just brings back far too many memories. But I think the Galapos did an amazing job and kind of swooped in and kept it and did what they needed to. So hats off to them for what they did, and had great vision in the sense of, the units that they did build and put together were beautiful and lovely. But now it's time for somebody to step into that role and really, want to take it over and understand that it will be a very multi-phase, multi-year project to try to, get it going. But yeah, if anybody's listening to this and has, a really rich uncle, that's what they should be investing in. Love it. Yeah.
What else do you think this town needs? What do you think we're missing?
A roller skating rink. No, I have no idea. That's not.
You're not the only person to say that.
Really?
Heather Curry really wants a roller skating
rink.
Oh
my God. I could see Heather Curry wanting that. The my daughter wanted to do roller skating for her birthday party this year, and the one in Ottawa was closed down. So I was like, we should bring one to Smith Falls. The retail side of me can say things like, I would love to see a clothing store of some kind. Like Michelle's is great, but we always need more, things that when somebody comes in on a boat and they're walking through town, there's a kids store and there's a this and there's a that and whatever, because I really do believe in and I never say this phrase right, but that all tides rise ships or whatever the saying is, that, when we have more, we draw more, right?
Yeah. I was doing the same thing. I think you're talking about a different expression than I am. I'm talking about there's a technical market term for the same thing. My dad told me what it was a while ago, and I keep forgetting what it is. But it's Merrickville. People go there because they can go antiquing at 17 different antique places, and that's. And whichever of those 17 was the first antique shop was doing worse when it was the only one in town.
1,000%.
Versus being one of 17. Now they're doing better.
Right.
Which is, as a business owner, can be counterintuitive.
Yes.
You think, I opened a cupcake store and now there's another cupcake store across the street. Or,
gosh darn it. Yeah.
I opened an athletic store. Now there's another.
Right.
But when you have clusters like that, that's what attracts people, because people can...
You say the athletic store, and we used to have Art Sports World in town. It was right beside my mom's office. I keep saying that. I've worked there for 13 years. It's my office. It's still referred to as Nana's office in my family. We'll be going into the office and they'll be like, oh, we're going to Nana's office. I'm like, this is my office too. And I just did it. Anyways, by my office. And it was great. It was like your typical sports store, shoes on the wall, they brought in all the things. And it was great. We used to have Biba. Do you remember Bibas? They were all over Ontario.
I've never heard of Biba.
Really?
Must have been a small town.
It was. And even the Queen, what was the Queen movie that just came out? Not just came out, but 5 years ago, probably. Anyways, they worked at a Biba. So I was like, oh my God, there's Bibas in the UK. And so we had, and they had, Calvin Klein jeans and all the things, and then Reitman's in town. And you didn't have to leave the town to do your shopping. And it was great. I miss those types of things. I think that's really what we need, but I know it's hard. Like you said, that first one that comes in, it's tough. So I'm not sure.
What are we missing then? I always ask this question from a perspective of what do you leave town for? I have to leave town to go watch a movie because we don't have a theater.
Yes. Yep.
I have to leave town to swim because we don't have a pool.
Right.
I don't have to leave town to go to Walmart.
No.
I don't have to leave town to...
groceries and that kind of stuff.
Get groceries.
No.
I only have to leave town to get clothes if I'm being really, really picky. There are places to get clothes.
Absolutely. Yep. I would say we used to have Smokin's menswear. So if Nick needed to get a dress shirt or something like that, he'd have to leave town to get a dress shirt. Granted, we've had at the brewery before a clothier come in with swatches and whatnot and get custom shirts made and whatever. So we can do stuff like that. But like you said, most definitely, for my kids' birthday parties this year, both of them, the two older ones, want to do rock climbing. So we went to the Boiler Room in Kingston and they went rock climbing with their girlfriends. But in terms of day-to-day stuff, I was just saying yesterday to a friend of mine that when we sponsor the pancake breakfast at St. Francis School every year, and everyone always says, oh, like, at Costco, you can get, all of the maple syrups and this and that pancake mix and the blah, blah, blah. We go to Catroci's, the warehouse, and get all the food from there. So there's lots, I think, that's underutilized in the town that people aren't aware of. And I do say, like, even at the brewery, when people come into it, if you're not directly exposed to something in this town, you don't know it exists.
Yeah.
And it's like that anywhere in the world. I recognize that. But I think in terms of your own town, you don't like our oldest daughter wants to take volleyball. And I was like, I don't know. I've never heard of any volleyball. Well, Andrew Howard, who's, he's been on the podcast and everything, and very good friends. He's like, oh yeah, I'm on the executive. We have a volleyball team as well. What? For 12-year-olds? Yeah. Oh. I had no idea. But you don't know until you start looking for it. I get that. But at the time, I was like, well, I'm going to have to look in Carlton Place, or, hopefully Brockville has one. I had no idea. Here it is in town. So note to self, if you're looking for 2011 and up in terms of ages, I have volleyball.
So back to your 4 kids. They do lots of activities. What do they do? Are they all in town?
No.
Their activities?
No.
Okay. So what do they do in town?
So in town, obviously, all 3 of our older girls, they do singing lessons with Amber here, singing, piano, ukulele, and Charlotte's drum life was short-lived, but all singing. So they're here on Tuesdays. I've got to go during the week. So our Grace, our oldest, she, like I mentioned, she was swimming for the fall, and she did skiing in Calabogie all winter. And then she was, from the time she was 4 until this year, she skated with the Rideau Lakes Skating Club, which I know Frankie does as well. Our Amelia, our second, she just went out for basketball tonight. So she's doing that, I guess, now. This was the first night.
So where's basketball happen?
At the Smith Falls High School.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was very excited about that. I less so, because she is a horseback rider, and a competitive horseback rider. She rides 5 days a week just out of Perth on the Narrows Lock Road. And she loves it. I rode my whole life, but was very much like, no, you don't need to, horses, no, you don't want to get involved in that. I joke that I'm like a, say no to drugs campaign when it comes to horse riding, because I'm so broken inside from my falls that it's you really have to go into it understanding that you will come out the other side not the person you were physically. But yeah, so she rides competitively and very, very focused. She wants to go to the Olympics one day. And then our third daughter, Charlotte, she also rides, but she likes to do things like, I'm going to stand on the saddle and practice balance. No, you're not. Like, you're sitting down and okay, fine, but I'll listen for the lesson if you let me ride backwards at the end. I'm like, okay. And you see her like going by you, like, look at me. She's more there just for the fun of it. And then she skated as well in the Cane Skate program. Ivy has yet to start anything, thank God. But all of them started with the gymnastics, parent and taught gymnastics at the Smith Falls Gym Stars. Yep. So that will just be the next thing that we'll be back at 4th time around. But yeah, so every day of the week except Mondays, we're running in one direction or another. So now we're running on Mondays to basketball, it seems, apparently. But we're never bored. That's the one thing about having 4 kids. You can't be bored.
And how's the brewery going?
Brewery's good. Yeah, it's we now have trivia the last Friday of every month in support of the Heritage House Museum, nice. Which is super fun. We had it the first one was this past Friday that just happened, and was really well attended. People had a blast, so that was really, really fun. And then we've had a couple of like local people that want to just strum their guitar on Saturdays and play for the crowd. Not anything too wild and crazy, but just, to support those that want to get out there and start doing that. So that's been really fun. I would say, my husband does the lion's share of it all, as many know, but and many, if you're not following their Instagram page or Facebook, he puts some pretty funny videos out from time to time. But yeah, it's a fun space. The people that support it are amazing and have been awesome. So yeah, the usual brewery stuff. beer being made and drank and having fun.
So, what's next? What's next for this town? I still want to know. I want to nail this down. What do you want to see? What do you want to see? Like, there's ways we could lean, right? We could lean to just being like, and I'm not against anything. Like I said,
right.
Well, I am against something. I'm against being a commuter town.
Yes.
Not, we can have a little slice of commuters.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I don't want to be that to be our identity.
Right.
I don't want to be a commuter town, I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to be shitting on anybody else here, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe Kempville has kind of become...
It's a commuter to Ottawa.
Commuter
it feels
town.
That way when you're there.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't want to be that.
No.
I don't want to be you, Kempville. I'll never be you. I'll never be you, Kempville. But, I don't want to be that.
No.
And I think we run the risk of being that.
Yeah.
Unless we take the reins and decide our own future.
And I think that if we not fall into it, but if we lean into that commuter idea, I think it's looking outside of our walls to that will be the answer. Like that, if we do that, then we'll be safe because people will, inject some money, but not all the money. Because let's think about it. When you're done a commuter life, you're done work, you get on the train, you leave. You're not picking up groceries to take on the train. You're going to get the groceries where you live, or after you get off the train or the bus or whatever. So I really think that if we were to lean into that idea, I think that would almost be like us saying we don't have enough. We're not good enough to stay here. You have to just work here and leave. Like
you said, it feels like a safe option.
Yeah.
But I think that's an illusion.
Yes.
I don't think that's the safe option because if all you're offering is proximity, well, you can get that in a very large radius.
Yep.
And somebody will out cheap you or something.
Totally.
And I don't know, that's boring to me, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not commuting to Ottawa, so there's no benefit to me there. So perhaps it's just a selfish want.
Well, but I also think like it's interesting to me about when you said, I'm going to say this name of a town and you're going to tell me what it is and whatever, and how really, yes, like I look at the last 10 years, I've been sitting around I sit on a lot of real estate committees and task forces and everything else, and would introduce myself as I'm Jennifer Aunger-Ritchie. I'm from Smith Falls, Ontario, the home of the largest cannabis factory in the world.
Yeah. When
I grew up, I would say I'm Jenny Aunger. I'm from Smith Falls, home of Hershey Chocolate Factory. Mm-hmm. For a fun reference, I would always say too, I'm Jennifer Aunger-Ritchie. We're at home of the largest cannabis factory in the world. My husband also owns a brewery, so it's a good time all the time at the Ritchie household, is what I would say. Yeah, I felt really proud about that. I felt like I was cool or something. But you're right. Like I never thought about it that way in the sense of like, it's like how I always used to say, I don't want to be Jennifer Aunger-Ritchie, the realtor. I want to be Jennifer Aunger-Ritchie, who is a realtor. Like it's not just who I am, but it is what I do. Mm-hmm. And I wonder about that for the town. Like it's a really good, I don't see it that way anymore. Even though like my husband worked for Tweed for a while, but I never saw it as like the be all end all of the town. I thought that, when Bruce was there, they did amazing things, but so I never thought about it. I never really put a lot of weight into the fact of even my words were that's what we were identified as. So when you kind of take that out of the equation, I guess I didn't have an elevator pitch anymore.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Ottawa and most of Ottawa to me felt like just a lot. It was so suburban, like there's just like bedroom community after bedroom community, all smushed next to one another.
Yes. Yep.
And then the city itself,
yeah,
it's big-ish because it's the capital.
Yep.
It's nice. It's nice and it's green.
Yes.
Again, because it's the capital and they have the National Capital Commission and they invest a lot in making the capital of our country look pretty.
Yes.
But culture there was always kind of meh for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some okay restaurants, I guess.
Yeah.
some okay entertainment,
Yeah.
gas, like,
Yeah.
but not really like, you know, for its weight class
Yeah.
as a city, you know, they're not punching above anybody else in my books.
Yeah.
It's, you know, with that many just kind of button down,
Yeah.
non-risk taking, leave at 3 p.m. on Friday civil servants.
Right.
And it's just kind of a bit of a boring and safe town sometimes. I
Yeah.
love Ottawa.
Yes.
But, you know, I grew up there, so I can talk shit about Ottawa all I want. You know, just
You've
like
earned it. Yeah.
I can trash on my family, but nobody else can.
That's right.
I'm allowed to talk shit about Ottawa.
Yeah.
I love Ottawa, but it was, you know, it's got a heavy, boring streak.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm continually developing my own sense of what Smiths Falls is, but I've only been here for 4 years.
Right. Is that all?
Yeah.
Wow.
4
It
years.
feels longer than that.
Like just over 4 years. It was
Wow.
January 2019 that we
Wow. I thought it was
took possession
longer.
of our place.
Interesting.
And I'm really interested to see where this is going. This is like half the topic of half of my shows I do here. It's just trying to nail this idea down. Where the hell are we going?
And I think like for a lot of people, the minute you say, what do we need in this town? Like, and I ask it a decent amount too.
Mm-hmm.
They'll always say like a fine dining restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
The places we have in town are great. I frequent them often.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was going to celebrate, where am I going to have, or a date night,
Something with cloth napkins.
Something with, where you feel like you got to get a little bit something, or there's dim lighting, or there's, you know, it's open past 7.
You need to make a reservation.
Yeah. The first Valentine's Day that Nick and I, when we moved back here, we went to Bistro 54 in Perth. Mm-hmm. And you can't get reservations there because it's so small, right? And I always thought, wow, that's such a cool concept in the sense of, you know, we ended up eating upstairs and the Olympics were on. Anyways, it was a fun night. But friends this weekend, like they were at the brewery and then they were going out for a date night. And you know, they went to Matty O'Shea's, which is great. And the food's wonderful, but it's not the atmosphere, you know, for a date night when you're trying to just be with your spouse after putting the kids with a babysitter and whatnot. So I always wonder like where, and they looked at the vault, but it had closed. And again, because they have great food too. Yeah.
I think that's kind of the closest we have to like.
Yes, exactly. And they were going to go there, but it was like 7:45.
The food's great, but you know, candlelit kind of.
Yeah. I'm just,
thing,
again, something that's a little more like, and again, my space in town is really, really wonderful. Like their schnitzel's great.
My place.
Yeah. Love their schnitzel.
You said my space.
Did I? Oh,
I think so.
Maybe I slurred or something in my place. Yeah.
I haven't heard about MySpace in a while.
Yeah.
Did you have a MySpace page?
I did not have
You didn't have a MySpace page? You
No.
bypassed MySpace?
I did.
I had a MySpace page.
Yeah. I knew about it. I think I just wasn't creative enough to put it on. And I'm always very afraid that I would not have those, like, wasn't it like your top 10 or something that you had on your
top 8.
Top 8.
MySpace
and
had
I was
top
like,
8.
I don't know if I'll have that. And I don't want to be like confused or whatever. So I'm just not going to do it. So that's my go-to move usually. But yeah, I did not have a MySpace, which is weird.
I think technically I still have a MySpace.
Well, if you never blew it up, then it's still there.
Yeah, I never took it down. So
yeah.
I should check that sometime. See what's still up
if
on my
it's still
MySpace
around, that'd be
page.
so funny.
Well, I think it was like Fox that bought it out from Tom.
Right.
Tom from MySpace. He was everybody's friend. He's
Yes.
everybody's first friend on
First
MySpace.
friend, yes.
And then he sold it for like $1 billion.
Yep.
And then it tanked like within months because
I know.
they changed it all.
Of course. As it seems to happen anytime something gets sold.
Then Facebook took over.
Yeah.
Is that still happening with Twitter? See, I haven't been a Twitter person. I haven't used Twitter.
No. I had Twitter, I think, was one of the first things.
Elon blew up Twitter.
He did blow up Twitter. It seemed to be, again, though, I'm commenting on it based on like what I read in the news and stuff like that. I don't have Twitter. My brother has Twitter and he, seems to still like it. I gave up social media for Lent. I do every year. So I give it up for, 40 days or whatever, which is always kind of weird, but I do just like a detox. So my brother gave up Twitter for Lent, which then of course both of us, it was weird. when we were away over March break, I said, like, how's yours going? And he's like, oh, it's good. You know, I just really find I'm watching YouTube a ton. I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching YouTube so much. I call it my nicotine patch. Like, it's like I can't go on Instagram or Facebook. So I'll go on. I now have deleted YouTube as well.
Right.
Because I never understood how people listen to real true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
Never understood how people did that. And yet somehow my For You page on YouTube became like all of these like top 10 craziest murder, blah, 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 you know? And I was too afraid to watch it. I would just read the subtitles in the little, anyway. So I had to delete that too because it was giving me nightmares.
That's what Amber loves. The true
crime. Everybody loves.
Yeah. Murder podcast.
I can't do it.
All day long.
Scares the living shit out of me. Like, it's just not for me. But anyways,
I get it. It's never been my thing though. I'm into nerdier bullshit than that. Mm-hmm. I really like learning about like ancient things.
Nick does too. It bothers me when he tries to teach me something when we're like watching TV at the end of the day.
I also really like linguistics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I learned this. You know, like how we have so many nicknames in English that make no sense?
Yeah.
Like one's like Robert is Bob.
Yes.
And Richard is Dick.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yes.
It's actually a bit of a bullshit reason, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's just because we like to rhyme shit.
Really?
Yeah, it's just that's where those come from. Yeah. Rick, Dick. Ricky Dicky.
Yeah.
Hey Dick. That's the long and short of that.
The one like that I've always wondered where it came from. Mm-hmm. Mother, mom.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Father, dad. It makes no sense.
Yeah. I'm sure we could look that up.
Right.
I'm sure there's
I
a
still
reason.
think it's because like a baby's first real words can be like a dad. And they're like, dad, that's me, ergo dad. I'm like, that makes no sense. Mommy, mom,
dads
mama.
do make a lot of shit up.
They do. Yeah.
I make so much stuff up. It makes me think back to like all the questions I used to plague my father with. And I get plagued with these questions now, and a lot of the time I know the answer, but when I don't, I'm not going to look like I don't know the answer, so I just make it up.
Yes.
And they don't know the difference because they're stupid little kids.
Right. Yeah. It is a dad thing. That's a dad move.
This is one I found really interesting about names, though. So not just the rhyming ones, but like somebody being like Edward becoming Ned.
Yes.
Or even like Eleanor becoming Nell.
Nell, yes.
And like for some reason we add an N to the beginning of those short names.
Yes.
And it's because in older English, if you were talking to somebody who was also married to a Nick,
yes,
you might say like, oh, my Nick.
My Nick, yes, we still say that, yes.
But in like older English, my is a shortened version of mine.
Right, yes.
So in older times, you might say mine Nick.
Right.
But with a name like Eleanor,
right,
or
Nell.
L,
yes,
or Ed,
yes,
you'd be like mine
Ned.
Ed,
right,
my Ned,
right,
my Ned,
and then it became Ned.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's so interesting that you're into that.
Yeah, I like nerdy stuff.
Like
From
Nick watches like the YouTube
like weird math
videos.
stuff to,
yeah, he likes to watch like Big Bang stuff, like you know, like how the world became what it is, or like. There's a guy, why can't I think? I've watched so many of his silly videos, but they're so smart. And it's things like why we do this a certain way. It's because this was the way in which blah, blah, blah. And so he loves watching that stuff too. And we'll always sit down. I'm like, really? I don't want to learn right now. Can we not just watch them? And he's like, oh, fine. So, yeah. But then take him into a trivia game. He knows a butt ton of stuff.
Yeah, now you need him.
Now I need him. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's not me. I want to watch a show and be like entertained. Or I'm like known for going back into like just shows I've watched 100 times just to feel comfort in some way or another. But yeah.
So if somebody were to text you, kind of like I did those 4 years ago.
Yes.
And say, Jen, I heard you know a thing or two about Smiths Falls. Why should I move there?
Ooh.
What would you text back? You got to text back, otherwise you might lose this client, Jen.
Totally. Yes. I would say that you've made a very wise decision to consider this town because it can offer you the lifestyle that you're probably hoping to get, where your bakery is steps away and you get to know Amy, who owns it, and she's lovely and will become a close friend. And your kids will go and learn music from Amber, and she's amazing and super fun. And your kids will never complain about practicing the piano, which I still think is weird that she can do that. And that if you walk down the street, you're going to get invited in for tea. And when you're hoping to go out for dinner and, you might not know anybody, you end up sitting at a table with somebody that you just met 5 seconds ago, because that happens far too often.
Yeah.
It's a real community. It doesn't just claim to be, it is, where everyone cares about their neighbor, and you will feel a sense of comfort and belonging that you might not find somewhere else.
Well, there you have it, folks. Smiths Falls. We're putting life first.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Thanks for coming to talk to me, Jen.
I'm so glad that I finally did.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Smiths Falls On. Check us out at sfon.ca, a podcast all about Smiths Falls, getting to know the people in it. Till next time.